What up, everybody? Welcome back to Breaking Night with BL, episode number sweet 16. 16 episodes. Way more to come. Thank you to everybody who even tunes in and listens, who wants to learn, who maybe doesn't know New York history like we do. And it's important, because if you don't know where it started, you're never going to know where it's going. So, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you all more than you know. It's getting around, and I do get good feedback, and I appreciate that from a lot of people. The haters, that's just life. Not everybody likes what you're doing because they're not doing it. Hot as balls out these days, so don't mind me. I got the AC cranking. Got to keep cool in this, stay hydrated, drink a lot of water, stay in the shade, kick your AC on. Your bill may be $400 a month, but I'm not going to live like I'm in Savannah or in Kenya, because let me tell you something, hot as balls. I want to give a big shout out to my boy RB. Bobby's an unbelievable man. I got my Billy Org shirt. Rest in peace, Billy Org. Love this shirt, man. Can't thank you enough. RB's a great dude, man. Pure vandal, Graff animal. A lot of you all are not going to be able to keep up with this guy. I know you see all these freights going by. There's 900 RBs on this side, that side, this train, that train. If you don't like it, you got to get used to it, man, because this guy's not going anywhere. Actually, he's just getting more and more and more into it. And I love it. I have a million things going on, so it's not as easy for me to hit freights as I used to. But they're not far from my house, and that's a treat. Thank you, Bobby. You're the man, dude. As always, shout out to homie Swiss Precise out in Long Beach. My boy, another true Graff historian, knows so much about graffiti and hip-hop. I got to get Swiss on the phone, man, because I know a lot of things about him that you guys probably don't know. When I talk about his clothes, Knights of Bedlam and Horror, Destroy Everything, he knows what he's talking about. Big up to my homie Pence. The sick logo, man. Gotta love this guy. If you ain't got good people in your circle, get rid of them. Because trust me, they're only holding you back. But what I want to do is I want to thank RD for the treat, man. You're the man, RD. Keep doing what you're doing. Trust me, people are watching. Like Howard Stern. They don't watch you because they love you. They watch you because they want to hear what you're going to say next. The same reason people even watch my show. Who am I going to diss next? Or who am I going to big up? Because this is what the graffiti world is about. And not for nothing, I ain't start a lot of the beefs that I'm in with people. But I sure as hell finish them. So, be careful what you say and what you do. What I want to do is I want to dig through this box that my boy GERM gave me. GERM hooked me up with this sick box. Let's dig inside here a little bit. Get some history. Let's dig into this box a little bit, because there's a lot of sick treats in this box. Bunch of flicks from my boy GERM. Sick flicks. So many flicks. GERM, you're the man. Got all these magazines here. Let's just take a glance at some of these. There's a lot of cool shit in here. My boy GERM. Hitting it back in the day, kid. Connecticut life. GERM. Another GERM. These Connecticut dudes were killing it just like New York was, man. It's a worldwide sport. Graffiti. Art shared all around the world. Just treats, man. Connecticut tracks. Look at my boy GERM and his people in Harlem at 125th Street. Look at this. Freight graffiti before a lot of you were even hitting freights. Freight graffiti's been going on for a super long time, man. It's not like it's new. But it's the new thing. Because you know what? You don't get in trouble for painting freights. No one gets in trouble. You get caught painting freights, you're a clown. Or you need a better spot. Look at the track spots. Germ, you're the man. And let me tell you what's sick about anything. I got all the negatives. Look at all these negatives to the original pictures. You don't have negatives, you got nothing. Let's just get that out of the way. Let's take a look at some of these magazines, man. Because he gave me a ton of magazines. And this is what it's all about right here. This 10th annual special of Graff News. It's $5 back in the day. Look at this thing. Let's look through some of this. Treats in here. All treats. Look at this. Shout out U5 crew. Look at this. Old Giz. U5 crew hung out in Studio 54. Look at this. And old Germs. JC3. Vanna. You know, a lot of these places were coming off, man. These magazines. Look at this Arc. The homie Arc, man. You don't see a lot of this stuff, man, anymore. But these magazines were coming off because they were putting out magazines and they were saying, hey, send us flicks if you want to get in here. And let me tell you something. Some of these people have super sick, real sick. Look at this. Rated, Sony, Arion, Arc, and Tesk. Look at this, man. History, man. Pure history. You can't turn your back on history, man. Some of the most important stuff going on in graffiti. Look at this. Rated on an old L train. Wow. Shout out Rated, man. U5, Bushwick, Ridgewood. With no joke, man. Shout out to Audi, dude. U5. Aerosol Kings. 3BR crew. Man, just so much stuff in these. You got to really take your time and go through these. Look at Uzi. South Brooklyn. Unbelievable. That's just one. Shout out GA. The homie GA, man, has been putting in work forever. These people, they don't go nowhere. Risky, Slick, LA. Look at GA. Hitting trains way back in the day. Show. The homie IR. A good dude, man. Known IR a very long time, man. Good dude. LA Graffiti. Stuff from all over. Look at this. Giant freight train. NSK. Look at Arc. Has his own canvas. Just a couple of samples of the stuff that we see growing up. Shout out to all these people who put in work. GA, NSK. Look at this. IR and GA. Kidding me? Bushwick's finest, man. Chicago. Psycho. Man, Germ, you're the man, dude. He blessed me with a ton of stuff. Yeah, what is this? An old T-Kid? Look, sick old T-Kid. Scene UA crew. Wow, man. Unbelievable. GA, kid. Yeah, man. Look at this. Old Subway art. Everybody's seen Subway Art. This is a sick old copy. You gotta love that. Some of these magazines here. Wow. A lot of stuff out of the country. Flashbacks. Wow. Unbelievable. Poem. Yeah, man. So much to go through and see. So much history to catch up on. Pure. Look at that. Pure's a good dude, man. Look at these things. Just magazine. Can Control. Magazine. Underground Productions. Game Over. Magazine. Unbelievable, man. Undercover. Full color graffiti art magazine. Man, unbelievable. Germany, New Jersey. So much stuff. Pure Saint TMR. What's a magazine without Saint in it? Not the same. Magazines. Magazines. On the Run, the ultimate magazine. Unbelievable. Can Control. Another one. Look at some of this, boy. Ghost. This is what I'm talking about. Just pure history, man. E-Rock. Yeah, man. Germ, you're the man. Because let me tell you something, you don't have any of these magazines, you're never going to get them again. Out of print. Most people's parents threw them out. I know I had a sick stack of pictures. My mom found them and threw them out. Thanks, Mom. That's the reality. But the treat in the box is this. Look at this. A little thing with some caps. Look at all these old caps. Some of them are used. Look at this. Pure treats. Look at this. You know Germ was putting in work with these caps right here. Man. Thank you, Germ. You're the man. That's a super treat. You know what I'm talking about? If you ain't got a collection of magazines like that, I promise you, you're never going to see them again. And this is true graffiti history. People who put in the work with magazines out of their own dime, out of their own time, traveling, taking pictures, developing pictures. It's a lot of work. I applaud you guys, man, because it's not easy. It's not easy when you have a goal and you're trying to do something and only this many people support you. It used to be you have a lot of supporters, man. Everyone's on the same page. Not anymore. It just turned into like a hate game. This guy's up more than this guy. This guy's hanging out with this guy. This guy's doing a gallery show with this guy. I'm not fazed, and I really could care less. But I do want to give a big shout out to my boy Dism, my boy Anthony. I'll tell you a funny story. I was in a store that a TMR kid owned, and we were hanging out, we're chilling, and I look on the wall and I see a Saint sign, obviously taken off the street. I was like, that's pretty sick, man. Where'd you get that? It's like, got it in the street. You know what I mean? Gave the old wink. I was like, that is pretty sick. He's like, oh yeah? He says, there's another sign over on Horace Harding in Fresh Meadows across the street. from the Fresh Meadows movie theater on Horace Harding, the one-way street going into Bayside. It was on the rail. So in other words, when you came out of the theater, it was directly right in front of you. Then you had to make a right to go into Bayside. So I called up my boy Anthony. My boy Anthony, he does signs. There's a sign business. So what did I do? We got into full character. Anthony shows up. We put the vests on. We put hard hats on. He grabs a clipboard. I grab a screw gun and a little ladder, and we go over, and in broad daylight, we're taking down this sign. Not only did we see one, we saw a second one. I gave the second one to Anthony. But to me, this is pure graffiti history. I see things like this in the street, I take it down immediately. Because it's history. Look at this picture of the Saint sign that I got. Unbelievable. That's the second Saint sign I got. You know, it's funny, I was just watching a movie the other day, and it just brought me back. I was watching The Wolf of Wall Street, and there's a scene where they're in the diner, and they're talking, and they look across the street, and there is the deli / vegetable place that I got the sign from. And I literally paused it, and it just came to my head, and I was like, this is something I gotta bring up. Because I got 2 Saint signs. Not 1, 2. Shout out Saint, man. He's a true legend. Guy killed it for a long time. Started a crew that by far, we were in the news, we were in the paper. We were all boroughs. Everybody knew who TMR was back in the day. And I'm truly grateful to be a part of that crew and know these people. Because what a bunch of great guys, man. Unbelievable people. Shout out Saint. Keep it real, man, always. But funny, the other day I was on the phone, another little quick story. I was on the phone with my friend Larry Romano. Shout out Larry Romano. He was on Kings of Queens. He was in a bunch of movies, A Thin Red Line. He was in the movie Bullet with Mickey Rourke. A lot of films. If you've seen his face, you would know exactly what I'm talking about. But I became friendly with this guy. He came to me, he told me he was working on a movie and he needed some graffiti. But the movie's based in 1986. So he wasn't looking for like fancy styles and characters and all these colors they use now. He just wanted basic, simple bubble letters and regular graffiti. And that's what I do. I don't do pieces. I don't bomb like that. I'm just a straight throw-ups and tags and keep it moving. Larry comes to me and he's like, yo, can you do this in my film? He goes, I'd really appreciate it. So shout out Larry. Chuck Zito's in that movie. A bunch of other famous faces that you see. So I go to the set and I go in the house and he asked me to destroy the kid's room because the character in this movie, he wasn't really a tagger. He was an angry drunk who would fight with his parents and he would just go in his room and destroy his room. So I says, I understand this character. I get to the set and what do you know? I break out all my stuff, I'm ready to go. And this woman, I guess who was helping him run the movie, comes in and she's like, whoa, 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 whoa. What are you doing? What are you doing? I was like, I'm sorry, Larry hired me to come in here and do my thing. She's like, wait a second, I got all this stuff set up. You know, you just can't be writing in here, you can't be doing that. I said, all right, get Larry on the phone right now. Larry was outside going over lines with Chuck Zito and some of the actors. She calls the radio, Larry, come to the room. Larry, come upstairs to the bedroom. Larry comes in. What's the problem? What's going on? This guy's about to start writing on everything. He's got all the spray paint. He's going to get paint all over. What's going on? What is he doing? Larry says, John, why don't you explain to her exactly what we're doing and why you're here? So I said to her, I said, listen, I understand this character very well. This is a tagger, an angry drunk guy. He's not, his hands are not legible. He doesn't have great hand styles like me. I don't have a great hand style. So I says, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write over on top of everything and I'm going to just cover it. And for people who know, back in 1986, we had landline phones. So sometimes when somebody would call you and you're like, oh, take this number down, you would just grab a pen and you would like write it on the wall next to your light switch or something. So I just took a pen and started writing names and phone numbers and just catching tags all around the walls. I literally stood on the bed and was writing on the ceiling. Just going crazy, making it look like this guy's a drunk maniac. I was in that room for a couple hours. By the time I came out, Larry, the woman, and the whole set came in and was like, wow, look at this. Now she understood what I was talking about. Here's some video of that day, just so you can see a little bit of what I'm talking about. This is going to be in Larry's film. I can't wait for it to come out this year. Shout out Larry, man. I love that dude. Just a regular, humble, good actor. Great guy. Like a true paisan. I'll tell you another story. Not meant to be happy, but this is just how the universe and things work. A while ago, my grandmother had passed away. And we held on to her urn. We were going to bury her. And then my father had passed away. So we saved everything and we did everything in one shot because my family has plots out in Long Island and that's where they were going to be buried. So lo and behold, I'm following this whole brigade. We're go all the way down. We go into the cemetery. We're looping around, and I go over and we pull over to this section and we're in a whole line of a procession. And I said to my mother, I says, oh, where are we? I want to just know what section we're in. So this way, when I want to come back and visit my family, I know where to go. The cemetery's huge. I look over to my right, I turn my head, and the hair on the back of my neck stood up. Because I couldn't believe what I saw. My family was buried in this section of the cemetery. And this is what my family's buried in, this section here. Look at this picture. Is that not irony? Is that not the universe talking to you? Mind you, my family bought this plot long before I was writing graffiti. And just the fact that it says BL1, section 60. I couldn't believe it. I was blown away. I sat there staring at this pole for like 20 minutes, just reminiscing and thinking about things. And to me, I'm a true believer in the universe. What you put out is what you get back. And that's how I live my life. Put out positive vibes, help people out, be a good person. Not everybody's going to respect you for being that guy, but some will, and it will come back to you. Because like I always say, I meet new people who do more for me than people I know all my life. I have people online sharing my show, like RD. Shouted out my show. I didn't pay him a dime. He doesn't owe me nothing. We're not even great friends. But he's a fan. He's a graffiti head. And he literally co-signed me and promoted it. And I look at a lot of my friends like, wow, look at some of this shit you're promoting. This is how I know who's who in my circle, and this is why I don't even talk to a lot of people no more. Take it as a diss, take it how you want. I'm not here to be insulting people. I'm not here to be talking shit about people. I'm here to show treats. Treats. Here, check this out. Treat Street, some of the first beginning canvases, man. BL, Den, Ketch, and Dessa. Look at this thing. It's so shiny. Unbelievable. This is the true meaning of treats. Speaking of Dessa, me, Dessa, Germs, Topaz, Den, Giz, and like one or two other people. We went a long time ago and hit the Freedom Tunnels. What an adventure. I never hit the Freedom Tunnels before. I was never there. But we figured out how to get in there. We went there, and we were just smashing stuff. We brought the ladder. All of us were doing high spots. It's all Den, Giz, Dessa, BL, Dessa, Giz, BL, Den. Just unbelievable. And I love it. I got a bunch of pictures and video from that day. Here, check this out.
Turn it on. Real sick. Real sick.
Unbelievable. I'm not trying to blow people up, but basically the Freedom Tunnel is just a tunnel. It's not like we were bombing the city and I got to worry about people knocking on my door trying to lock me up. Because trust me, if they were going to do that, they would have came already. It seems like they don't even care about graffiti no more. People are out killing the city every single day, riding on trains. They don't even know what to do. Shout out to all the people smashing trains in New York. I love it. Dessa is still out there documenting all of this stuff. He knows where to go. He knows when the trains are coming out. You gotta love that guy. That's a true graffiti historian. His picture collection is next to none. And that's what I love about the history of Graff. Everybody's got their hands in it in some way, shape, or form. Here's a treat. I got this dumpster, and I had Send 4 hit this thing.
Yeah, I think I love that shit, man. I drank that shit. Wow.
The dumpster king. You all don't know about Send 4? You should really start doing a little research. Little pieces of history to me that are everything. Here. I got this whole folder here full of song lyrics. When I was in the hip-hop industry and I was making songs, I did songs with all these people. They came to my studio, they had all their stuff written down, and this is what I got. My boy Jack, Sadat X, Craig G, Big Noid, Black Poet, all song lyrics. We're gonna go through this because I have all of their original. This is like sketches for graffiti. Look at this, Sadat X. All his bars he was writing. More Sadat. Craig G. Like, I could be here all day going through this stuff. Because trust me, when I started collecting, I really started collecting. And people would just leave stuff in my studio and I'm like, oops, thank you. I mean, trust me, this is just lyrics after lyrics after lyrics, all from some of your favorite songs. And again, to me, this is everything. A lot of people don't have stuff like this. How many of y'all have stuff from some of your favorite rappers? Huh? Shout out Craig G, man. I love Craig. I always talk about Craig, man. I had a lot of fun with him, going to events and hanging out and doing stuff. Let me show you a couple other treats. There was a point at Treat Street, I had Ice coming over. Ice U5. And I had this idea that I wanted to do some stuff with the original characters in movies. And I wanted him to come because he's an unbelievable cartoonist. And he just does sick cartooning. And I was like, this is where we were the perfect match. I can't draw for my life. Can't do it. But I have ideas. So I came to him, I says, look, I got all these pictures, I'm gonna put them on canvases. I want you to come and I want you to do half face of the character and leave the other half plain. And this is some of the stuff that we were doing. You ain't seen anything like this in your life, I promise you. This is by far one of my favorite ones right here. The Joker, Jack Nicholson. Signed on the back by Ice. I put the picture on the canvas, I spray painted the background, I did my part, he came in and killed it. Unbelievable. Look at this treat. Iron Man. Unbelievable. Original. All around the whole thing. This is not a print. This is the original. Signed by Ice. Look at this. Wolverine. Original. Signed by Ice. What do we got here? Incredible Hulk, Lou Ferrigno, the original. Unbelievable. Yeah. Here's a collab canvas that me and Ice did. A shout out to Ice, man. I know we weren't on the best terms, but that boy's a true talent. Look at this thing. Spider-Man. Unbelievable. I've been saving these and holding on to these. I was gonna go to Comic-Con, showed them to some people. I'm not selling the originals, but I was gonna make copies of these. I went to a photographer many years ago when I had him take professional photos of all of these. So I think I'm gonna make some copies and send them over to Ice. I think that's the right thing to do. Because I know he's a little pissed off at me. We had an argument, disagreement on stuff, but no love lost. Absolutely no love lost. I see he's still doing his thing. Ice, you're a great dude, man. True talent. Keep doing what you're doing because I love it. Look at this. Original Batman. Come on, man. Just ideas. Ideas go through my head all day, and that's what I think about. What can we do different? What can we do to separate ourselves from what everybody else is doing? And that to me was a big deal. Shout that boy out. You know, thinking about Ridgewood and all the days when we were kids, man, and just getting over and learning how to be a schemer and how to just do things. Last week I was home, getting all blazed up, and I was thinking to myself, man, all the things that we used to do to get over. And I remember we were kids, on like hot summer days like today, we would want to get into the Ridgewood movie theater. In Ridgewood, they got the movie theater, it was on a triangle. So there's the front part, and there's two parts to the back. So we would do like 10, 15, 20 of us. We would get together, we would all chip in, and we would send in one of our boys. He'd buy a ticket, he'd walk into the theater, he'd go all the way down, he goes, and he pops the door. Meanwhile, the whole place lights up, and like 20 of us go running in, and we all sit in seats, and we all sit around and like pretend like we're watching the movie. And here comes the usher running down the aisle. What's going on? Hey, who came in here? Who came in? Whoa, whoa! And he's putting the light in everybody's face, and we would be like, whoa, whoa! What are you doing? You're ruining my movie. None of us ever got caught, because not only is it the risk of what you're doing, you got to know how to play it off. If you don't know how to play it off, you're gonna get caught because your face, you know, is pure blank. Like, what? I'll tell you another funny story. Back when I was etching with J.A., he made a bunch of etch markers and we were going around doing stuff. One night I was bored and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go hit Queens Boulevard. So I took the bus, I went up to Queens Boulevard and I started trooping all the way up Queens Boulevard. Back when Macy's was there, the mall was there, the Queens Mall, all these places. So I'm walking, I'm hitting stuff, and I'm hitting this bus stop, and I literally look through the glass and in front of Macy's and I see a security dude is standing inside the mall staring at me through the glass. And he's just shaking his head. So I finish what I'm doing and I start walking. Now I'm walking up toward the Queens Mall. I'm on the mall side of Queens Boulevard. I'm walking, and something tells me, BL, turn around. So I'm walking, I just get on the block. I just passed White Castle, and I'm at the Queens Mall, and I turn my head, and I see a cop car coming the wrong way on Queens Boulevard, as if they're looking for this person. So I just started walking. As I'm walking, I took out my marker, I cuffed it, I threw it right in the garbage. So I start walking, all of a sudden, cop car pulls up next to me. They both get out, they look at me, they're like, okay, you're not a kid. They're like, excuse me, did you see anybody writing graffiti? Well, first they asked me, was I writing? I said, excuse me? Was I what? I played totally stupid. Was I what? He says, were you writing back there on something? I says, writing on what? I don't even know what you're talking about. These two cops look at each other. He's like, oh, it's not him. Because, you know, I fit the description. I was wearing like black pants and a hoodie or whatever. The cop says to me, he goes, yo, did you see anybody suspicious? I says, well, not for nothing. I says, I just crossed in White Castle and I saw this kid just go running up that way toward the park. I don't know what you're looking for, but I did see somebody running that way. These two guys ran into their car and whoop, 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 took off and left. And I just shook my head and I was like, wow. If these people only knew. If I would have not been paying attention. This is why I don't drink or get high or smoke or fuck around when I'm doing stuff. You got to keep your head together and you got to be thinking with all cylinders. Look over your shoulder, watch your back. Do you hear a car coming? Is it awfully quiet? What's going on over here? Graffiti is something that trains you to use your mind in criminal ways. Lex Luthor. And that's what graffiti is about. Now it's, you know, murals and hitting freights, and other than the people in New York and some of these places that are just really doing illegal graffiti, I mean, it's amazing. When you look around, it's beautiful. You know, you drive through Williamsburg and Bushwick and all these places, they're doing things, you know, celebrating people, which is important, because when writers pass away, this is what people do. You grab the ball and you support them, and you put them up and you keep their name in everybody's face. That's one of the things that I love about graffiti writers. They're continually putting people up. JA is continually putting up Sane. You got Giz and all these guys continuously putting up VE. Without that, their history and their name is just gonna die and no one's gonna know about them. Shout out people that do keep the game alive, because without that, there's no history. Shout out to RD. This piece is gonna be in my collection forever. Shout out to Hojo, hooking me up with the map and the stickers. Gotta hang out with Hojo one day, man. Get a beer. Fun people, man. Like-minded, fun people. Shout out to my boy Treadle, TMR, for the box. Love it, man. What a treat. Big up AT. Hooked me up with all the stickers, putting up Doro WDD. Super important, man. If you're not gonna keep the history alive, who's gonna know about it? I'm gonna play my part, teaching you all I can. If you have any questions, leave a comment on my YouTube page, because I'm not one of these people that beg people to like, subscribe, smash that button, leave a comment. I don't go for that, man. If you really truly like what I'm doing, follow me. If you really like what I'm talking about, leave a comment. If you want me to talk about something maybe that you haven't heard, you don't know, leave a comment. All that stuff lets me know who's watching and what you're paying attention to. So I gotta say big shout out to you. Shout out to my boy Breeze. Hooked me up with a sick album cover for this sync project I'm putting out. I'm putting out a bunch of beats for music, TV, and commercials. Of course, I went to Breeze. Nasty did me a sick cover. I just turned it all in. Within the next couple of weeks, it's gonna be online. Who knows? You may hear one of my things in a commercial or a movie. This is why I made all this music. I'm not just gonna sit around and let it die. I'm not doing that. Shout out Coop TA7, constantly supportive, always hitting me up. We gotta get Coop on the phone. Coop will talk about Sunnyside TA7 history. That's the kind of stuff I know y'all wanna know. We're gonna talk about Queens, we're gonna talk about Brooklyn, we're gonna talk about all these people who started a movement and still carry it, and I love it. I know they got an event coming up where they're honoring Wild Style. They're doing a tribute to Tracy.
Not yet. I save another, not just yet, but peace to the other Bobby O'Shea. You can't get rid of the old Bobby O'Shea. We have one here, one in heaven. Love you. Peace.
I think I'm gonna have to show up to that, because Tracy at 168 was a complete gentleman. He was nothing but fun. He blessed me with a lot of stuff, and I'm never gonna forget that. Michael's gonna be in my memory forever. He's greatly missed, man. And it's sad that we're losing all of these famous writers. And it's just making room for street artists. You know, you see all these galleries, they've got the same people here, the same people there, the same people there. I mean, it's no diss, man. Your characters are cute and all, but I only respect graffiti writers. You know what I mean? I respect vandals, people that were out doing the dirt that made this game what it is. This game didn't run on, look at this cute flower on the corner, or this two-dimensional robot. You know, people covering their face like they're being sought after. Trust me, man, no one gives a fuck about you. Absolutely no one. I promise you. You could sell all the fruity art you want. I'm not impressed. What does impress me? Graffiti. Racking, killing shit, going over people, beef, people fighting for their name. That's what impresses me. I'm nobody to you. Some of my own friends don't even fucking call me or care. And it's like, it's okay. I'm living out here in Connecticut, living the American dream. I paint when I want, I do what I want. But now in these days, all I care about is my daughter. Hanging out with my daughter, teaching her about life, and spending every minute I can with her. Because my father was not around in my life. And a lot of you fathers are not in your kids' lives now. You know why? I gotta be cool on Instagram. I gotta post 500 pictures. Oh, let me comment on everybody's things so I look cool. I mean, if that's what gets you through the day, God bless you. That don't do it for me. What does it for me is seeing real shit, being around real people, and doing things. And I'm not gonna stop. My new hashtag, I'm not dead yet. I'm gonna be here, I'm gonna be a thorn in your ass until the day I die. And I promise you, when I die, nobody's gonna be doing BL pieces or nothing. No, no way, no how. But that's okay. I'm gonna have my own legacy. And that's what's important. Like I said before, I'm gonna tell my own story. Because you are gonna tell a bullshit story. And I'm not about the bullshit. I want to give a super shout out to my boy Richie, BR's brother. BR's brother Richie had a birthday a couple of weeks ago and he did what I did. Just reached out to a bunch of people and made his own party. I went there, I saw Neo, I saw Drug Crew, I met RO and Tease and a bunch of awesome fucking people. Shout out TKB, the Crazy Bombers. Bunch of great dudes, man, put in work, been doing this forever. I know my boy Richie hangs out with Drug Crew all the time. Every week, these guys are getting together and just kicking it, and that's what's important. My boy Pete, all these dudes are coming out and chilling, and I love it. With that being said, I gotta kick rocks. Shout out to you for tuning in. Peace, my brothers.